I think there's 14 candidates, 15, 16, 100. How many we got in
In
this?
the Democratic race, there are 12.
12. Now, a number of those people are politically connected.
There are those of us who are at the children's table, and some of us are at the adults' table, but, there are 12 of us.
All right, and some of them have the backing of what we would call the old political machine and the regular old Democratic Party organizations. There's some of them, even if they come out of that, would be considered liberal. Liberal and progressive, I'm not sure what it means. Radical, liberal, progressive, they're not all the same. But
Springfield is full of liberals.
Yeah.
But it's a bad place down there.
What about, there's one other candidate who will actually, it's Mike Quigley, who will be a guest on this show with Katie Hogan, my co-host, one of my co-hosts, next week. He's got a rep as a progressive and a good guy, but you would distinguish yourself from him on what grounds?
I'm raising specific issues about what I do in Congress and changing the economic system. I'm running to make big changes in the economic system. As to what Mike Quigley is doing, he'll have to speak for himself. But I've been at forums. I know what I'm saying, and I know what he's saying, and people can make their own conclusions.
Well, when people hear you, they really like you, and that's good. So how do we get out there more? I drive around different neighborhoods just as an old habit, and I do drive around in the 5th Congressional District, and I see O'Connor's name. I see another guy that begins with an F's name. I see a woman's name. I don't see a lot of your signs yet, so I'm wondering when we're going to get a sign that could maybe go up in a window here and spread it around the 5th.
You will get a sign that goes up in the window here in about 5 minutes. And as terms of...
this guy's quick to action.
Obviously, we're not on TV. But I don't think this is a TV election. It's a special election, small turnout, somewhere between 40 to 50,000 is sort of a general range. It might be higher, it might be lower. And in an election like that, the people who are going to vote, I find, and we've been doing a lot of canvassing, are people who are going to research their vote. That's what makes this election different. Over and over, we've called up people, because we do a lot of phone banking, who say, oh, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. They don't say, I'm for X or Y or Z. They say, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm looking up the websites. Well, that's golden for us, because this is the first election, maybe in this city, where people are researching the election online to find out what the heck they're going to do, because the very number of the candidates makes it difficult for even the, quote, leading candidates to get a kind of traction in a short period of time. The bottom line is, if this is an election where people look you up online and they go to www.tom09, because nobody can spell Geoghagan, if they go to Tom09, we're going to win.
Speaking of the number of candidates, and probably because it's a special election and there's going to be not the highest of turnouts, so you got 12 Democrats, a couple of Republicans, all these votes are getting split up. It gives someone a good shot, and we will remember our own state's attorney's race here in the city, where someone who didn't get a lot of the votes but got more than everyone else got the seat.
Sure. It's a plurality.
What happens in this? This is a plurality, not a majority.
Not a majority. So, you know the old Adlai Stevenson line,
my distant relative.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a Democrat, too, back in 52.
I went out there to talk sense to the American people, and what happened? Well, it turns out that's not a majority. Well, you don't need a majority in this election. So if this is the dream election for progressives, because this is the one election where progressives really have a shot at deciding the outcome. And if I'm the true progressive, and the true progressives figure out I'm the true progressive, and I think most of them do when they go to a forum, I'm going to win it.
We're going to take a short musical break, and we'll be right back with more Live from the Heartland. This is Michael James. I'm talking with Tom Geoghagen. He is a candidate for the 5th congressional seat, 5th congressional seat and representative seat. And we'll be right back with a little bit more. Stay tuned to the left end of your dial, 88.7, WLUW 88.7, Live from the Heartland.